Okay, what we have here is a stock Honeybee King V2, and this helicopter belongs to my brother, so he's having a bit of trouble flying it. What we're going to do, three things. One, we're going to fix it up a little bit. We've got a couple broken parts. Two, we're going to try to balance it out. Big issue for people learning how to fly. It makes it very difficult if it's not balanced correctly. And then lastly, we're going to tune it. I'm going to tune the main rotor. We'll get the blades tracking correctly, and then we'll also want to get the plane of the rotor to be fairly perpendicular to the main rotor shaft. So stock parts, you got your stock brushless motor, stock battery, the receiver, 72 megahertz receiver, and stock rate gyro. So the point here is to show that a little bit of tuning and careful attention, it'll be easily flyable without spending a whole lot of money on upgrades. So the first thing we're going to do is go through all the repairs. Had to replace a couple of servos. One had broken gears, the other one was receiving a bad signal. Second thing I looked at, which we're going to do right now, is the blade shaft. Check to make sure it's not bent. So now you can see as I'm turning it, the whole assembly is wobbling up and down, which means the blade shaft is bent. So we're going to be replacing that. And the last thing that we're going to fix is these feathering shafts. I noticed that they were set so short that I couldn't get any positive lift from the blades. So I've adjusted them out longer. But as you can see, as you lengthen this shaft, it would push this part of the arm up and then increase the lift on the blade. So that's already been done. Next thing we're going to do is replace the spindle shaft, and then we'll move on with getting the blades tracking and then balancing the rotor. Alright, so all the repairs have been made, blades are back in. You'll notice not too tight, not too loose. You want to have the blades loose enough so that as it winds up, blades can easily straighten out and they'll be balanced where they're supposed to be. So the battery's all connected. As I mentioned before in the previous video, the feathering shafts were too short, and what was happening was that even with the dial at 0 pitch, I had severe negative pitch here. So there was no way we were going to fly. So even with it all the way turned up, I couldn't get it past flat. So now they've been adjusted so that they're flat with the pitch turned, with the pitch knob turned all the way down. So now we can increase it and decrease it accordingly. The next thing we're going to check is the blade tracking. So now we're going to wind it up. We're going to set it up around 40% and fire it up. So what we saw, I don't know if you can see it in the video, but the blue one, the blue blade, is running about 1/4 of an inch higher than the red blade. So what we're going to do, we can either bring the red one up or bring the blue one down. So in this case, I'm going to bring the blue one down. So we'll pop this one off. So to bring the blue one down, I want to shorten this feathering shaft. I'll start with half a turn. And we'll pop it back on. And let's fire it up again. Okay, not exactly perfect, but it's pretty good. Next thing we got to do is balance the rotor. So what we're going to do is look at it from in behind. And what we're looking for is if it's level. And you can see from this view, maybe, that we're slightly, looks like we're slightly tilted to the left. And I'll spin it up just a bit. Definitely, the whole rotor is definitely leaning this way. So what we're going to do, fold this out of the way. Pop this off. I'm going to raise this. Ooh, this is almost to the end. Not so good. Alright, maybe we won't do that side. Maybe we'll do the other side, shorten the other side rather. All right, get it level. Fire it up again. It's a bit wobbly. Could be that the main shaft is bent. I'm not sure. I didn't check it. But I think we're getting a lot closer. Maybe one more turn. Okay, so that should be good from side to side. Now we're going to look at it from the side. Try to see the pitch forward, the pitch back. Roll this down a little bit. See now, tilted back quite a bit. Try to raise so that the boom is level. You can see the rotor is also fairly level. Probably means just that the landing gear is a little bit crooked. Should be okay. I think we're about ready to do a turntable test.